Good morning, students. And yesterday we have dealt with the DNA virus, that is herpes zoster virus, and today we are going to deal with the Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, so we'll first do the introduction regarding of an Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, so this Epstein-Barr virus is also called as a disease of the mononucleosis. Okay, or it is also called as a kissing diseases. Okay, so it is also associated with the disease mononucleosis. The other name of the Epstein-Barr virus is our disease mononucleosis, and also it is also called as what? The kissing disease. And where, according to World Health Organization, so they have estimated that overall worldwide, so the United States has been infected with these kind of the Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, and it is also mild childhood sickness to the infectious mononucleosis in the adolescents. Okay, so these infectious mononucleosis means the person will be affected with some kind of cancerous diseases and Burkitt's lymphoma. So these are all the complications they are going to arise with these kind of Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, so that is regarding of the introduction regarding of Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, so Epstein-Barr virus means what? It is also called as what? So it is also called as the kissing diseases, and it is also called as a mononucleosis. Okay, so mononucleosis means a type of a glandular fever, and where so the person is affected with some of the lymph glands will be there, right? So that lymph glands, so they are going to have a edema formation, and where these kind of an glandular fever or the mononucleosis, it is transmitted by the saliva. Okay, so that mostly affected with the kissing process. Okay, so next go for the Epstein-Barr virus. So it was discovered by Epstein and their colleagues, has been established in the year of 1964, and where these definite associated with the malignancy. So already I have explained you the Epstein-Barr virus is nothing else but it's a malignant cause. Malignant means a cancerous form. Okay, and it is able to transform cells, resulting in the immortalizations of the cell. So what is happening here, and where the cell is not going to be so immobilized or transfer and do its function, and abnormal function is going to be there as a cancerous, and how the cell is going to make the abnormal growth process, and in the same way, and in this Epstein-Barr virus also the lymphadenopathy. Okay, so the enlargement of the lymph nodes. Okay, these kind of process is going to be there in the Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, so here there are two types of virus they have described, that is type A and the type B Epstein-Barr virus. So they did not explain these two types of virus in detail, so just they have abbreviated, and two types of virus, that is virus A and the virus B process. Okay, and where so this virus belongs to the family of the gamma herpes virus, and a subfamily consisting of the herpes viruses, and so these structure of the cell consisting of a nucleocapsid and a 10 nanometer in diameter, and it has a 162 capsomers. Okay, so the cell structures and the capsomers, nucleocapsids means the covering wall layer. Okay, so that is the structure of the Epstein-Barr viruses, and where it is derived from the immature particles. So where it is going to be there, so the cell which is immatured, and where the membranes that are going to be developed for the cell structure. So that is a process of these causes. And next one is it is a genome in a linear double stranded DNA, and where so it is going to be make the centimeters of the 172 kilobase pairs. So that is a measurement of the DNA structure of the genetic family. So that is the structure of overall Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, so once again I will be reading you the Epstein-Barr virus, and it is consisting of the family of what? Gamma herpes virus, and subfamily coming to the area herpes viruses, and this virus is a nucleocapsid. It is 100 nanometer in diameter, and 162 capsomers is going to be there with these kind of Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, and whenever the membranes is derived, okay, immature cells or the membranes will be there, right? So from that, and this DNA molecule is going to be take the process, and the multiplication or the double standard DNA molecules is going to be, so make a growth process with this kind of an Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, so KBP means that is kilobase pairs. And epidemiology, so comparing to the epidemiology, we can see that two epidemiological patterns are seen here, that is developed countries and the developing countries. So already you knows that, and what is happening here means, so the developed countries and where the infections are more, we can see comparing with the undeveloped developing countries. Okay, so here, but the percentage, especially whenever you are seeing 80 to 90% or the 90% in children, the seropositive is been infected, means so with the serum of the mother that is going to be infected to the children's. And mostly, so these epidemiology transmission, so that occurs by the virus transmission by the contact with the saliva. Okay, so the infected person's saliva is going to be transmitted to the other person. Okay, so just a map wise they have explained you. And what is the pathophysiology? Okay, so what is happening here means, and it is going to be affected through our respiratory tract. Okay, so here what is happening here means, so once the infected person, so he is going to be acts like a carrier. Okay, so what is happening here means, and whenever our immune defense, so once the carrier person is lacking carrying the Epstein-Barr virus, and that carrier person, so who are having a low immune defenses, okay, so that person they are going to transmit the infection. So with the low grade virus replication only, and this virus is going to be infected to your epithelial cells of our pharynx. Okay, and so from the pharynx, and that is going to be able to make it to the B lymphocytes, lymph nodes, and B lymphocytes either maybe in vitro or the in vivo process, means external process or the internal process, and where the infection is going to be transmitted. Okay, and through kissing disease already discussed that. And after that, what is happening here means, and these immortalized B cells are there, right? And that cells they are going to pass through our circulatory system, and whenever it is in the circulatory system means in our blood. Okay, and through our defense mechanism, okay, like for example like antibody reactions, phagocytosis means killing of microorganisms. So in that process, so they are going to kill the cells, so that process will be taking place continuously and in several ways, and this Epstein-Barr virus is going to be transmitted and shows some of the infections. So that is a pathogenesis, like you can see infectious mononucleosis, Burkitt's lymphoma, nasopharyngeal carcinoma, or lymphoproliferative diseases or lymphoma in the immunosuppressed means enlargement of the lymph nodes. Okay, and Burkitt's lymphoma means cancerous lymphoma, and X-linked lymphoproliferative syndrome, and chronic infectious mononucleosis, and leukopenia, low blood cells in the AIDS patients we can see, and our chronic intestinal pneumonitis, inflammation of the lungs in the AIDS patients. So these are the symptoms they are going to occur with these kind of the process. Okay, so once again I am repeating the pathogenesis. So what is happening, and once the infected person is acting as a carrier, okay, and that carrier person and is going to be transmit the infection to the immunosuppressed patient, the person who have low immunity. So when it enters to the other person, and this virus with the low grade only, this virus is going to be replicate in the other person, and that is going to be stays in our epithelial cells of the human body. And after that, and it is going to be transmitted to the pharynx, and there from the pharynx, and it is going to be damage your B lymphocytes. Okay, and from the B lymphocytes, okay, and these B cells, B lymphocyte cells is going to be transmitted to our blood circulation also. So in the blood circulation we will have the phagocytosis function, right? So with that, and it is going to be engulf, and it is going to be kill the microorganism virus, and which that is not killed, and the active virus is going to be developed, and that is going to be shows different kind of the process. Okay, so already I explained the meaning of the pathogenesis. Okay, and next we see the clinical syndrome associated with the Epstein-Barr infection. Okay, so this is only with the Epstein-Barr infection only. Okay, that is we can see low grade fever will be there, and with the lymphadenopathy means enlargement of the lymph nodes. Okay, I'll show you the picture. And cough will be there, and rhinorrhea. Okay, frequent running nose, and pharyngitis, inflammation of the pharynx we can see. Okay, and Burkitt's lymphoma, and in the pathogenesis I explained you the clinical manifestations, right? Okay, so Burkitt's lymphoma is and Burkitt's lymphoma and the nasopharyngeal carcinoma. So these two types are the causative agents in the cancer. Okay, so that is a cancer causes is going to be there. And next one is a mononucleosis, and these signs and symptoms cause the fever. Okay, so it is going to be cause, so the fever, and also it is going to be causes some of the fatigue and sore throat and swollen lymph glands. Okay, already I explained you that the mononucleosis is nothing else but it's an infection of the Epstein-Barr virus which was spread through the saliva, and it is also called as a glandular fever. Okay, and it is going to be swollen lymph nodes. See has shown in the picture, right? So it is showing the lymphadenopathy, enlargement of the lymph nodes you can see in the mononucleosis. And fever, fatigue and sore throat, they are going to occur. Okay, and so within these 2 to 5 days the person will be having a malaise, fatigue, and possible fever will be there, and lymphadenopathy will be there, and tonsillopharyngitis means inflammation of the tonsils and the pharynx will be there, and splenomegaly means and the enlargement of the spleen, hepatomegaly, the enlargement of the liver, and rashes will be there, and abdominal pain and eyelid edema. So these kind of the process is going to be there. And next one in the resolution phase, and organomegaly means so the body organs is going to be enlarges. Okay, so this you can see here cervical, so lymphadenopathy, and hepatomegaly, lymphadenopathy in the diagrammatic, the enlargement of the liver you can see. Okay, and next infectious mononucleosis, and it is also have a syndrome means signs and symptoms already we had discussed, and lymphadenopathy, splenomegaly, and some of the atypical lymphocytes also you can be seen means improper enlargement of the organisms. Okay, already I shown you the rashes. I have shown you, right? So I am with rash after treatment with amoxicillin and the ampicillin. So what is going to be there if the person affected with these kind of Epstein-Barr virus, and if we are giving some amoxicillin and amoxicillin or ampicillin is the same antibiotic, so the person is going to be affected with these kind of rashes, so that you have to take care. Okay, and the complications we can see already I discussed, that is a splenic rupture and meningoencephalitis, inflammation of the brain and meningeus layer, and some pharyngeal obstructions also is going to be there, and lymph proliferative disease is going to be there. Okay, and lymphoma, enlargement of the lymph nodes, and some of the antibody test whenever you are doing, and you can detect some of the diagnosis like radicular rashes we can see. So that complications we can see in these type of infectious mononucleosis or the Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, and with this mononucleosis, some of the symptoms are explaining, that is fatigue, sore throat, pharyngitis, fever, malaise, okay, nausea, abdominal pain, lymphadenopathy and hepatomegaly. Same thing they have explained. Okay, so Burkitt's lymphoma, it's a cancerous disease. Same thing they are explaining in detail, but it is not important for you. Nasopharynx carcinoma and this one, and immunocompressed patient. So immunocompressed patient, like for example a transplant recipient, means the person with the renal problems. Okay, and AIDS patients or X-linked lymphoproliferative syndrome, the person with this kind of the disease condition. Okay, so infected gene, so that is also transmitted. And next one is the diagnosis. So how you are going to diagnose this means by the antibody test, detection test, and also anti-Epstein-Barr virus, and also so they are going to detect out the IgM process. Okay, so in the IgM process, and they are going to detect out the VCA, viral capsid antigen, they are going to detect out. Okay, so and also so they are going to detect out the MPC. So MPC nothing else but nuclear pore complexes. Okay, so nuclear core complexes means, so they are going to connect the structure of nucleoplasm and the cytoplasm. They are going to detect out, and some of the patient with elevated symptoms of the ENT process. Okay, so ear, nose and the throat symptoms they are going to identified. Okay, so treatment like, and antiviral treatment they can give, like for example acetaminophen and the non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs they are going to give, like fever, and some corticosteroids, and if the person is having the swelling. So these three kinds of drugs of anti-inflammatory drugs they can be predicted. Okay, so what is the antiviral drugs like acetaminophen and anti-inflammatory NSAIDs they have to give in order to reduce the fever, and some corticosteroids they have to give in order to reduce the swelling. So that you have to give. And the prevention like, and 95% of world population infected with these kind of Epstein-Barr virus. And what is the possible prevention you can make here? So whatever the infected person is there, and we should be avoided with the saliva. Okay, infected person saliva or the close contact with the person should be prevented. So that is only the prevention method. Okay, so that is regarding of oral Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, thank you.